So good day everyone, I'm Carol Layag Ilustrisimo from B.Ed Gen 2A and I'm also from Group 4. So our topic for today is about challenges to digital literacy education. Digital literacy education shares many of the same challenges to media literacy. For example, how should it be taught? How can it be measured and evaluated? Should it be taught for the protection of students in their consumption of information, or should it be developed their appreciation for digital media? Because we all know that nowadays, most of the people or most of the students are prone in any kind of media, right? So sometimes they easily believe to the fake information that they are heard, that they read, and that they see. It's really important to teach them appropriate and proper way of use in any kind of media, especially in digital literacy. So according to Brown 2017, he also noted that despite the global acknowledgement that digital literacy education is a need, there is as of yet no overarching model or framework for addressing all the skills deemed necessary. Put simply, there is no single and comprehensive plan anywhere for teaching digital literacy the way it should be taught. Accordingly, he asked, what assumption theories and research evidence underpin a specific framework? Whose interests are being served when particular frameworks are being promoted? Beyond efforts to practice flashy and visually attractive models, how might we reimagine digital literacies to promote critical mindsets and active citizenry in order to reshape our societies for new ways of living, learning, and working for a better future for all? So, being educated in using digital literacy or media, we all know that all of us can benefit of it. And we can use it to give ourselves and new ways of living, learning, and we can practice also our critical thinking and comprehension to any kind of information that we can read. We all know that digital literacy education gives a big role in our individual part because it can help us to think deeply and have a critical thinking regarding to all the information that we read, that we can get in any kind of media. So it's always for us to make sure that the information that we can read, that we heard, that we see is reliable and truth. So despite the challenges possessed by the broad and fluid nature of media, and therefore digital literacy education in the Philippines can spearhead literacy efforts by doubling down on this concept and principles of media literacy that are of utmost importance, like critical thinking and the grounding of critical thought in a moral framework. So we have here 5 critical thinking and the grounding of critical thought in a moral framework. So the first one is teach media and digital literacy integrally. So any attempt to teach these principles must first realize that they cannot separated from context meaning. So they cannot be taught separately from other topics. So critical thinking requires something that other than itself to think critically about, and thus cannot develop in a vacuum. Similarly, developing a moral framework within students cannot be taught via merely talking about it. This moral framework developed by practicing it. That is, basing our decisions on it in the context of everything else we do in our everyday life. We therefore agree with Caltech 2011 that the teaching of the fundamental principles of these and other literacies should be done integratively with other subjects in school, however difficult the process might be. In other words, teach them in mathematics, science, language, arts, social studies, and so on. Make them part of the school curriculum, and in the everyday life of the student, anything else will be as misguided as merely telling a plant to grow and expecting it to do so by the power of your words. So it's really important to us to gain more knowledge and to teach to everyone how media and digital literacy works. So next is master your subject matter. So whatever it is teach, you must not only possess a true understanding of your subject matter, you must also understand why you are teaching it and why it is important to learn. So as educators, we must not shy away from a student genuinely asking us to play why something we are teaching is important. After all, teaching is in itself and a kind of media the students are obliged to consume. It is only fair they know why. So, we should not just, as an educator, we should not just teach them and give the message about the topic. We should also give the students a motivation and a why question, why it is important for them to know about media and digital literacy, and why it is important for them to have a knowledge on how it will be used. Because we all know that it can give them another consumption and another views that they can also use in the future. So next is think multidisciplinary. So how can educators integrate media and digital literacy in a subject as abstract as mathematics? For example, the answer lies in stepping out of the pure mathematics mindset and embracing communication as being just as important to math as computation. Okay, so when we hear the math word, we always think it's about numbers and computation. So once communication is accepted as important, this opens up new venues where the new literacies can be exercised. For example, how students create a web page detailing what system of linear equations are, why they are important, and the techniques for solving them. Alternatively, they can create poster, infographics that explain the same things. The exact same strategies can be applied to nearly any subject and any topic. It is just a matter of believing as educators that how we communicate is as important as what we communicate. It is important for us to communicate properly. Next is explore motivations, not just messages. While it is very important that students learn what is the message being communicated by any media text, it is also important to develop in them a habit for asking why is the message being communicated in the first place. Okay, so students must be curious in the first place. So we create curiosity for them. So for them also to ask and give more attention to what we are talking about. So in the case of an information pamphlet warning against some infectious disease. For example, is there an outbreak we are being warned of? If not, could this then be an attempt to sow panic and discord in the target populace? Why? Who stands to gain from doing such things? The objective here is not so much to find the correct answers, but rather to develop the habit of asking these questions. Okay. So next is leverage skills that students already have. So it is always surprising how much a person can do when they are personally and effectively motivated to do so. In other words, a person can do amazing things when they really want to. Students can produce remarkably well-researched output for things they are deeply interested in. Even without instruction, harnessing this natural desire to explore whatever interests them will go a long way in improving media and digital literacy education in your classroom. So we all know that some students already have the skills. So we just need to do is to improve, okay? To improve and develop their skills on how they handle the information, on how they will improve their interest in media and digital literacy education. So, thank you so much for listening, and that's it for today. God bless.